Hi, and welcome to Talkin With Felicia. On today's show, we have TimBen Boydston, who is the Executive Director and Artistic Director of the Canyon Theater Guild. But before we get started, me and everybody here at the show would like to give a warm welcome and congratulations to TimBen for getting appointed a seat on the City Council.
Yeah. Thank you, Felicia. That is very kind of you. And I'm very excited about being on your show. And also, thanks for the excitement about me being on the City Council. It's very different and very fun.
Does that mean you're giving up the theater for politics?
No, ma'am. It certainly does not. In fact, you probably know that theater is politics and politics is theater. So there you go.
It sure is. So tell me, how long have you been acting yourself?
Well, I've been acting about 40 years now. I started when I was in the 4th grade. I did Wally in the play Our Town.
I know that play, Our Town.
Yeah, it's a great production.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. I really like it. So, how did your career lead you to becoming the artistic director of the Canyon Theater Guild?
Well, I went to school to become an actor or director, and that is what I chose as my profession, although once I got into school, I double majored and decided to take some classes in other areas as well, because I found it's really hard to make your living as an actor or director, especially in theater. And so I always loved being on stage ever since I was a little boy. And so I picked that particular profession after I did my first play. I always wanted to be on stage. And so
you were hooked.
I was hooked.
So tell me, did you ever consider film or television?
You know, I did think about that, and when I was in school, I talked to people who were in the industry, and I found out a couple of things about television and the movies. And one of the first things is if you're going to be in front of the camera, then you need to have some connections. And to make a living at it is really difficult if you don't have those connections or if you don't get extremely lucky. And so I didn't want to count on those two things alone, so I thought I will do acting and directing for the love of it for a little while, and then I'll go into business in the meantime, which I did.
You know what's so funny? Usually when you watch television and you may have saw a movie, say you saw a movie today, and like in 2 years from now, one of the actors in it who may have a small teeny part is this big star, and then the media will say, oh, this is the next big person, the next big thing. And you know what? They've been working so hard, but when you watch television, the media makes you think that, you know, they just stepped up to the plate and they had all these little parts. And it's like, you know what? Working in this business, I know, is very, very difficult being an actor, especially if you want to break through that ceiling and go into films and movies and television. But you know what? I think everybody's roots should be based in the theater, because that's where it starts. If you can make it in the theater, you can make it anywhere. That's my personal.
Well, I have to agree with you. If you tread the boards, you will learn the craft, and that's what it's about, learning the craft.
Exactly, learning the craft, because people don't realize when you work in the theater, you have, not only do you have to learn the lighting, you have to learn directing, you have to learn striking, which striking means to take down the set and put the set up, and learning all the different jobs. And it's not just about the front, it's about the front and the back, because since theater, you don't make a ton of money in the smaller theaters, you have to work together as a family and group, and I know that's what you have over the Canyon Theater Guild. How long has the Canyon Theater Guild been in operation?
The Canyon Theater Guild has been operating for 36 years now.
Wow.
Started in 1970.
1970? So I don't want to age you, so how long have you been there?
Well, I actually did a play when I was just a kid. In their first season, I did a play called 18th Summer. But I won't say that I've been with them straight through since then. I actually came back after I had been in the Air Force and after I had been in school. I came back 20 years ago to the Theater Guild, so that's how long I've been there.
Wow, and you know what? It's done so well. How does the community of Santa Clarita take to the theater?
Oh, our community is the best. And they have supported us for years and years. And the community supports us very well. The people that come see us, we had over 40,000 people see our shows last year.
Wow.
And in addition to that, of course, is the people that put the shows on. We have over 500 volunteers that work with the Canyon Theater Guild every year, doing all sorts of jobs, anywhere from acting to directing to designing to working in the house, ushering, building sets, building costumes. We do it all. So, and that's the reason why, of course, we can offer our tickets at a really reasonable price, is we have so many people that are doing it for the love of it. And
so you have your regulars.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So do you offer any acting classes there?
Yes, we do. We offer acting classes, and most of them are production-based. We have after-school workshops for the kids at different ages. And we have summer workshops as well.
And the cost?
Well, the cost varies by how long you're involved in the class and how many instructors we have and what the production is. So the costs vary, but they're very reasonable. And
that's the point I'm trying to get. Are they reasonable?
Oh, yeah, they're dictated by the economics of what you'll find around town.
So you said you also have summer programs. How long does your summer programs run? Is it run to
Well, yeah, the summer programs are great because we're able to put kids in the program as soon as they're able to read. And so we have kids programs that are 2-week classes to begin with. Then when they're a little older, from the 10 to 13-year-olds, then it's a 3-week class. Okay, and then when you get to the teenagers, then it's a 5-week class.
So if they start, when they start to read, that would be, they start at first grade at 6?
Yeah, about 6 years old.
And do you, at the end of your program, do you put on a little show for the parents?
Yes, absolutely. All of our workshops currently are production-based. In other words, at the end, they will put on a production. And it's for friends and family in our workshops. So as you progress and get older, then the production becomes more elaborate.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Suzanne, what type of plays do you do at the Canyon Theater Guild?
We do all kinds of plays. We do musicals, Broadway musicals. We do comedies. We do dramas. We do Shakespeare. We do children's theater and family theater.
Oh, that's
nice. And so we do just about every genre that there is, we do it at the Theater Guild.
So which genre brings in the most money for the theater? Because that's the one you do the most out of.
That's, as far as musicals, by way and far above anything else.
Why?
The musicals, people just love musicals, and they're willing to actually pay more to see them. So the musical is a unique American art form in the theater, and people have taken to it, and they just love it. So if a musical has a really good title, then it will draw very well. And the second to that would be the comedies. Of course, people love comedies.
I guess nobody wants to sit in there and see a drama because their life itself is a drama.
Well, we find that if the drama is well produced, and most pieces that are written that are excellent pieces that stand the test of time, have a lot of humor in them. Even if it is a drama, it has a lot of humor in it, and you have to play it that way.
Yeah, you do.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of directors out there, a lot of producing groups that think that if you're doing a drama, it has to be all drama.
All or nothing.
All or nothing, and that the audience must be put through the torture. And it's really not as effective that way. If you're producing a show and the audience has to sit there and suffer for 2 hours, no. You'll get a much better result if you play it like life is. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry.
It's funny. I saw a play called Long Day's Journey into the Night.
Yes.
And that is a long, long play. It's very good, and I like Eugene O'Neill's work, but it's very, very long, and it's heart-wrenching. Yes. There's some few light moments, but mostly it is heart-wrenching. So you're sitting there going, oh, my God.
Yeah.
We need a calming moment right now.
It can be a little tough.
Yes, it's very tough to sit through. So this is most important here. Santa Clarita is very diverse, and especially in recent years. So I'd like to know, do you do traditional casting? And when I mean traditional casting, I should say non-traditional casting. And do you have African Americans and maybe Mexican Americans, Hispanic Americans? How do you do that? Being in this community, how do you reach out to find other minorities to come into the theater to do other non-traditional plays or non-traditional musicals?
Okay. As far as casting at the Theater Guild, if we're doing a historical piece that has a necessary casting as far as one race or you're portraying a religion, what you need to try to do is be as historically accurate as possible.
Yeah, I understand.
But non-traditional casting you can use, and we do use. For any play where you have that latitude, it is very important for us to reach out to the minorities that are in our valley, which have been very slim up until recent years, but we're very happy that the minorities are growing in our valley. And we are able to use African Americans, we're able to use Asian Americans, we're able to use Hispanic actors, and we have, and will continue to do so. It just depends on, like anything else, the number of people that audition. You
Well, how do
really
you
have
get
to
them?
have the actors.
Where do
that
you
audition.
advertise? How do you?
Well,
how do you go about
we
doing
have
that?
open casting at the Theater Guild. In other words, if you're interested, you just call the Theater Guild and have them put your name on our mailing list. And then you get a little notice in the mail that tells you what we're casting and what the play is and what the parts are and what ages they are and things like that. And then you can come down and we cast openly. So it's not restricted, and the pre-casting isn't done. We also put notices in the papers, the local papers. Occasionally we'll put our notices in Backstage West or one of the papers over the hill, but not very often.
You know, and I also know that you do reach out to some of the, I would say, mainly African-American churches. I do know you reach out for the African-American churches and that you let the pastors know so they can make notice, which is a really good thing to do.
Well, when we're looking for African-American actors, we reach out really severely because we find that if we're going to do a play like we did recently when we did To Kill a Mockingbird.
I know, I heard it was a very good
I was
production.
thank you. I was very, very nervous about finding enough people that would come in. And actually, I wanted the galley in the courtroom to have 20 or 25 people in it. Unfortunately, we had to do it with about 5 African Americans. That's all the people that we had, and we had to twist arms. It's just amount of people that can actually and want to spend the kind of time that you have to. It's difficult to get people out to spend that kind of time and that dedication and that many weeks just for a very small part. And we were very fortunate in that all the lead parts were covered by people who were excellent. And so
I heard it was a very good production. I'm really happy to see that you did that. But what other ethnic plays have you done? I mean, the only one that I know of is the To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah. How do you pick your season when you sit down when you're bored? How do you pick your season? Do you just pick what was on Broadway or in Chicago and LA that did well, or do somebody really take the time to research what's in the community, the actors that we have out here? How do you do it so that we can see more ethnic plays?
Well, we pick our season based on one major factor:
money.
What will sell tickets? Since we're a nonprofit organization, but we would like to be an organization that continues to do theater, and so. Really, when you're looking at plays, you're looking at popular titles. A play that's been made into a movie is helpful. Obviously, having a long run on Broadway helps.
Oh, so I take it we look forward to seeing Dreamgirls.
If someday if the rights become available and if the language, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know what the language is like, but
it's very good. I saw it in Broadway.
It is.
And I'm sure the movie's very good.
We do mostly what we consider family-friendly theater at the Guild because Santa Clarita is made up mostly of families.
Yes, I do.
And so what we do is we find titles that are going to be seen by families and that we're going to be able to sell a lot of tickets to. Otherwise, we'll go out of business. So it's not so much about what the content of the play is, although we're not going to restrict ourselves. Like when we did To Kill a Mockingbird, To Kill a Mockingbird is a fabulous play on so many levels.
Fabulous.
And because it's such a fabulous play, and when we did our surveys, a lot of people said they wanted to see that. It rated very high in our customer surveys, and so we said, well, let's go ahead and do this play then.
Do you rate all of the ethnic plays, or do you rate plays across the board?
No, we just take a list of plays that we know are popular titles, and then we ask our audiences, what would you like to see? And then if the audience puts down a particular play, the next time we do the survey, we put that on our actual survey and see how it does. And then we rank it that way. And so that's why we pick almost all of our plays, not every one of them, but most of them. And that way we know that when we're going to open the doors, people are going to be in the seats because it's something they want to see.
Yeah, that would make sense. So what's your current season looking like?
Our next year's season, we're going to start out with...
When you mean next year, you mean 2007, 2008, or 2008, 2009?
Yeah, we're talking about 2007 and 2008.
Okay.
Our season goes from summer to summer.
Okay.
So this summer, coming up at the College of the Canyons Performing Arts Center, we're going to be doing Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
That's the College of the Canyons?
Yes.
Wow, it's a beautiful space.
It is.
And the new space, correct?
Exactly, the new space where we did Fiddler on the Roof last year and Wizard of Oz the year before. So this big musical, and it's going to be a very large cast, and I encourage everyone to audition for it. And so this is that's the kind of casting where we can say it's colorblind casting, as it were. We are able to use just the best actors that are going to come out and audition for those parts. That gives us wide open freedom, and we know that play is going to sell a lot of tickets.
You do all your big musicals over there now?
The biggest ones we are doing over there, yes, because we just don't have room in our 281-seat facility in Newhall.
But it's a beautiful
Oh, it
facility
is.
you have here in Newhall. It's
Yeah,
a really
absolutely.
nice facility. And now that you're in city council and the city is in a transition to really building up downtown Newhall, so it's really going to be really nice.
Yeah, we are really excited about the redevelopment of downtown Newhall. We know it's going to help the theater out. We know it's going to help the neighborhood out. And we've been very happy with how people have supported the theater when it's been in downtown. And it's brought the people down there, and it's allowed us to do some great things.
Are you the only theater in town?
No, we're not the only theater in town. No, the Repertory East Playhouse is right down the street from us, and they are a great theater. They do have 81 seats, and they do a smaller plays, but very well done. And sometimes a little more adult material as well. Plus, College of the Canyons has theater work that they do from the college, and they also bring some touring things in. And so that's the extent of the year-round theater right now, although, of course, there's great theater at our local schools sometimes, depending on what they're doing.
Does your new season have any ethnic plays in it?
I'm sorry.
You didn't mention if you were doing
I just wanted to mention one other group in town that's doing theater as well, and that's Escape Theater. Escape Children's Theater. Yeah, it's specifically for children, and they use very large casts, and they've been very well received. So the Escape Theater is doing a great work right now. Okay, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, my question was, in your current season, I don't know if you had said it before, were there any ethnic plays in your current season?
Well, like I said, we are going to be able to cast ethnic people, ethnic actors for Beauty and the Beast, or the play that's running with it, also the same thing, and that's Forever Plaid. It's a wonderful musical. Forever Plaid is a musical. It's wonderful. Forever Plaid is 4 guys who are singers, and they get killed on their way to their first gig, and so they're allowed to come back from heaven to do that show that they weren't able to do. It's a wonderful, really wonderful place. Yeah. So, and then there's the next play after that is Dracula. Also gives us the ability to cast ethnic actors in that particular show. It's going to be wonderful. And Christmas Story after that, the same thing.
Christmas Stories, I know it's very good.
Exactly.
Every year. That's very good. What do you do any fundraisers for the theater to help bring any money? Do you have any fundraisers coming up?
We have 2 fundraisers. At this time of the year, we're doing Cabaret, and we're doing Vegas Cabaret. That's just coming up, and that's wonderful. And we do one in the summertime, which is called the Gala. And the Gala is also a terrific fundraiser. And we use our own people to do a lot of the entertainment, and so it's terrific. But it is open. Always open auditions for our fundraisers as well.
For people to come in and do shows.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun. When you do the Vegas thing, do you bring tables in and do cards, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we do.
Or is it more for families?
No, we have that is an adult night, actually. The Vegas Cabaret is totally an adult night. We have adult entertainment. We have a bar, and it becomes a nightclub. We actually take everything off the stage and have tables and chairs. So for one night only, it's a nightclub, and all the money that we raise goes into our building campaign. So
those are your 2 biggest fundraisers you do every year.
Yes.
And what do you mean by a building campaign? You're trying to expand your space?
Yes, we're trying to expand our space and build.
You have a beautiful space.
We do.
The parking lot. So you're going to
put another building behind it that has a scene shop and a dance studio in it.
Oh, that would be so nice.
Yeah.
So when is that production going to be getting on the way for that? Depending on when you get your money
it depends on how good we are at raising funds,
Are you
raising
halfway?
the money. So, no, we're not halfway. We just started that part of the capital campaign about a month ago, 2 months ago.
Well, I wish you luck. So how is being the executive director of the Theater Guild and being on city council, how do you balance that?
Well, before I had 2 full-time jobs at the theater, and now I have 2 full-time jobs, one at the theater and one at the city. And it's working out pretty well. I'm able to promote the city at the theater and promote the theater at the city, so it's wonderful.
It works out like it works in twofold.
Yeah, it is working very well, and it's very exciting being on the council too, because I'm able to, I think, make a difference, and hopefully I'll be able to make a difference while I'm there in serving the people. I'm kind of a candidate that came out of from nowhere, and I have pledged not to run in 2008 as an incumbent, so I can make decisions not based on getting reelected. I can make decisions based on what I feel is the best and the right thing to do, and so I'm going to do that, and that I hope that I am successful in that.
I'm sure you will be. So you're saying that you're going to do this year, and you're not even going to running next year?
I'm not going to run for the city council in '08. I might run for something else, or I might run for the city council in 2010. We'll see. We'll see if I like it enough. We'll see if I can get something accomplished. It's very important. Politics, it's a very important thing.
It's real tough.
But you can accomplish some really good things. And I've seen some things in our town that have disturbed me a little bit. And I fought against those kind of things in the theater. A good example would be, the Vallarta Market when it moved into Newhall.
Yes.
That happened about the same time when the planning for that was when we were doing To Kill a Mockingbird. And we had a running battle posted backstage of the letters for and against. And I think that it is criminal that we would find racism coming into our community. Because that is not the community I was raised in, and I've been here 40 years. And when I see something like that in the paper, it disturbs me a great deal.
It's funny you say that. I find it to be very disturbing, and what he's referring to is that Vallarta Supermarket just opened up here in Santa Clarita, Newhall, and it's a predominantly Hispanic supermarket. And when they were trying to get approval to get into the space that was recently vacated by Albertsons, a lot of people thought that having we didn't need another Spanish supermarket because we also have another one which is down the road. They thought that their homes would go down, and just all the racist things that was written in the papers about having another Spanish supermarket, which was really horrible to say. And it's funny that you say, you didn't grow up in a community like that, but for someone like myself, people of minority groups within Santa Clarita, and will say that racist is alive and well out here.
Oh yeah,
which is sad.
And that is a sad thing.
There were so many articles written in the Signal regarding this whole episode about them getting in. And yes, I'd like to happily say Vallarta is in the spot, and it's a wonderful supermarket.
It is. I went down there the other week and went shopping there. It's a wonderful supermarket,
they got really good deals.
They have good food and good service there.
Exactly.
And everything, it's bilingual, and everyone speaks both Spanish and English there in the service. It's a wonderful addition to the neighborhood. I welcome them.
Yes.
And I welcome anyone who is coming from another area, whether they have a different religion or race or belief. There is no room for any kind of racism in Santa Clarita. And like I said, I fought against it being the head of the theater, and I will fight against it anytime I see it when I'm on the city council, because if we can't get along together here in this part of America, how in the world can the entire world get along,
I'm so glad you said that, because now that you're in city council and you've seen both sides of it, maybe you can make a difference, because it's horrible. It's really horrible.
Well, I hope so, and I hope that it's just about people speaking out and saying that we're not going to have that here. Okay, because we're not.
Important, But sometimes people speak out and things happen, and you wonder, maybe because they said this or maybe because they said that, and it's frightening. It's really frightening. But I'm glad you've seen the coin on both sides. I hope that being on the city council I know you're going to make a difference, because you know how it is to see both sides of a situation and to really understand that everybody has a voice, and your voice needs to be heard whether you like it or not. We can have different voices and different opinions, but that doesn't mean we need to hate each other and fight each other. We need to stick together as a community, because at one point Santa Clarita was just one type of community. Now it's multicultural, diverse everywhere you go, different people everywhere. It's in our schools, our supermarkets, and it's so funny when you think of a supermarket. People made such a big deal about a simple supermarket. Yeah. Food is food. It's food is food. I go in the store and it's some things that I don't know, but I can go in a regular store and some things that I don't know. But the point is, food is food. Chicken is chicken, whether you're African American or you're Mexican. We may prepare it differently, but food is food.
We are human beings. We are all human beings, and we get so hung up on
the little
things, that the way we look different, or the way somebody thinks or says something different or speaks differently, and it's really ridiculous. We are all human beings, and that should be the only thing that counts.
Exactly.
I think.
It's funny when you look at our money. It says, "In God we trust." We all have the same money.
Exactly.
And it's refreshing to know that you feel that way. It really is refreshing. And I'm so glad that you came on my show, and I really wish you all the best, because, you know, good things come to good people, and I feel that you're really good people, and you were such a great guest to come here. I was so excited to know that you'd be coming here because I am a big theater fan. I love the theater. You know, I dabble in it myself.
Yes.
So
And you're
I'm
a good actor, too.
So I'm like, I'm waiting for you to get something. It's like, oh, another ethnic play. I can come out there and run and do it. You know, I'm waiting for that. But, you know, I know that in time you'll do other things. Because you know what I also think is a wonderful play? Oh, Lord, I just had a Raisin and Son.
Raisin in the Sun.
Yeah, I just had a moment.
Yes.
I forgot. A Raisin and Son is a really good play.
It is a great play.
Anything of August Wilson is fabulous.
August Wilson.
Which
An
I
excellent
know,
playwright.
you know, it would be tough, you know, August Wilson.
Yeah, well, we did scenes from that when I was in college. It's a wonderful work, a wonderful writer.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
does such wonderful work, and I'm just like amazed at some of the stuff he does, you know. But, you know, I just want to thank you again for coming. I'd like to give you a big thank you for coming to Talking with Felicia. And I'd like to also say that call, if you want any information, please call the Canyon Theater Guild at the number that you'll see on your screen for any of the fundraising that go on there or their big Vegas cabaret that's going on. Also, I'd like to also say that our next guest will be the Reverend Julius Harper, so please stay tuned. And thanks again to TimBen Boydston. I really appreciate it, and I wish you luck on all of your adventures, especially on the City Council.
Thank you, Felicia.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
That's what makes me.
Santa Clarita is Southern California's entertainment destination. Just minutes from LA, Santa Clarita's year-round weather means you can enjoy year-round fun. Like thrilling coasters and water parks, premium shopping, destination day spas, fine dining, outdoor adventure, and major events such as wine festivals, golf tournaments, and the Cowboy Festival. Santa Clarita, always in season.
I've smoked bud since I was a little kid.
The night before, I went to a rave and I was fried.
Yeah, I was addicted.
I used to want to kill myself, like, every day.
It's a slow death. That's all it is.
Oh, it must be careful. Well, that's a nice picture.
Come on, Anna.
Okay.
Foreclosure doesn't affect just you. It affects your whole family, too. If you've fallen behind on your mortgage, we can help. Call 1-888-995-HOPE because nothing is worse than doing nothing.